those newly elected senators was John F. Kennedy, and he responded that he would be interested in interviewing me. He had not yet moved out of his House office where somebody new was moving in, so he pulled a couple of chairs from this turbulent office and just parked them in the doorway, and we each sat on those chairs for a very short time while he interviewed me for the first time. And I've sometimes reflected that what impressed me most about this extraordinary man was that he impressed me as being an ordinary guy. He talked as a young man. He was still in his 30s. He had a sick father and a bad back and an interest in public policy. And he didn't try to overwhelm me with how rich he was or how famous he was or the fact that he was a war hero or any of that. I had received an equally nice reception from another newly elected senator, and I describe in the book that I had to pick between the two, and it was a tough choice because I didn't know anything about Washington. My two older mentors both advised me that Kennedy was not the one, that he was a conservative from a conservative Catholic millionaire family. And because I had had this favorable impression with Kennedy, I decided, being young and presumptuous, I would go back and re-interview both of them. And in Kennedy's case, I was concerned about his not being vigorously against Joe McCarthy, who was the terror of the country in those days. I asked him about that, and then I asked him, as I did the other new senator, what is it you want me to do? Why did you want to hire me? And he said, we've been having an economic slump in New England. We've lost our textile industry and our shoe industry. Next, we may lose our fishing industry. If you decide to come with me, I want you, after you settle in here, to go up to Boston. I've never been to Boston. And I want you to meet with Seymour Harris, the head of the economics department at Harvard, Alfred Neal, the head of the Federal Reserve Bank in Boston, Bill Belanger, the head of the AFL-CIO in Massachusetts. Funny, I remember all these names. John Harriman, the best business economics columnist in the Boston Press. And then I want you to put together for me a legislative program to revitalize the economy of New England. Pretty tall corn for a boy from Nebraska. So I went to see the other new senator, and he said, Paul Douglas tells me you're a very smart lawyer. I need somebody like that to get my name in the papers. And besides, you have a Scandinavian name. That'll be good back in my hometown. Didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out which of those two was the best.
What are the qualities that you believe allow one to give a great speech? And who, in your view, are the most effective political orators of the modern time?
Most effective? I would say that President Obama is extremely effective, and he's naturally eloquent, although he has a good team working with him. I would say that Ronald Reagan, when he read speeches prepared for him by Peggy Noonan, I know it drives Reagan's other speechwriters crazy when I say that, but that's another reason I said. They were good texts. And if you're talking about effective in terms of actually having an effect, George W. Bush. I mean, who else ever began a speech and there was an enormous click all over the country of people turning it off? Thank you.